If you're struggling with retroactive jealousy, chances are very good that you're also struggling with one or possibly more limiting beliefs. In today's video, I'm going to speak to a viewer of this channel who's struggling with both retroactive jealousy and limiting beliefs. My name is Zachary Stockill, and since 2013, I've been helping retroactive jealousy sufferers from all over the world to gain clarity and peace of mind about their partner's past. If you'd like more information about my work or you'd like to work with me one-on-one, please visit my website at retroactivejealousy.com. And also, I am still in the middle of a move. My home is currently still a construction site, so if you hear construction noise, apologies, but I think it's more important for me to get videos out than to have the absolute perfect shoot. So here goes nothing. In today's video, I want to respond to a viewer who asked me an interesting question, or at least posted a comment that I found interesting. He says, "Hello, Zach. Thanks for your great job. You're very welcome. In one of your videos, you mentioned that if guys feel jealous about one-night stands their girlfriend had, they can leave her and they can have the same experience. But many guys just can't have one-night stands because they are not attractive, not funny, or simply feel weird with a stranger. Can you make a video for this situation, please? I think many guys can't accept casual sex or one-night stands because they simply feel excluded. Thank you for your comment. I will leave it there to keep this anonymous." First thing I'll say is, for the people here for the first time, the term retroactive jealousy refers to unwanted intrusive thoughts, often obsessive curiosity, and what I call mental movies about your partner's past relationships and or sexual history. And many people struggling with retroactive jealousy are struggling with the fact that their partner once had casual sex or once had one-night stands. In particular, a lot of guys struggle with this who haven't had any casual encounters, who haven't had any one-night stands themselves. There's a lot to dig into in this question, but the first thing I'll ask you is something that I ask myself all the time. And that is, do you actually want this, or do you just want to want it? In other words, sometimes in life, I think a situation presents itself, or maybe we feel jealous or envious of someone else because they have a certain thing that we think we want, or they're going through an experience that we wish we could have. And we may think we want it, but in truth, we probably just want to want it. And you sound like a classic example of that, where you're trying to indicate that maybe you feel jealous about one-night stands and maybe you would want that, but you're kind of awkward and you don't find yourself attractive and you don't like to be with strangers in an intimate situation, yada, yada, yada. You sound like someone who probably doesn't actually want to have a one-night stand. You probably don't actually want to have casual encounters. But maybe because of your upbringing or some weird societal, social/cultural pressure or influence, you feel like you want to want that thing. But this can also come up in different ways. It isn't always just social or cultural pressure that makes us want to want certain things. Sometimes it's simply our ego looking at specific aspects of an experience or a person or a thing and being very selective about the bits that we want without wanting the whole package. For example, there may be a part of you that, is a guy and you want to have a one-night stand, but when you really think about the whole scenario, about meeting someone and, risking disease, and I don't know what your particular concerns are, but you might want a specific aspect of that thing, but you may not want the whole package. So this whole wanting to want something scenario comes up in my life once in a while, not with regards to casual sex and one-night stands, but I'll share an anecdote that happened to me not that long ago. So I have a pretty small YouTube channel by comparison with a lot of people, in comparison with a lot of other YouTubers. I'm an author, I write books, I sell books, but not as many as most other authors, or a lot of other authors, shall we say. And there was a certain author I was looking at and I watched an interview with him and I felt kind of envious. I kind of wish, I wish I had a platform like that, and I wish I had the influence that this person has. And I was feeling a bit envious in a certain sense. And then I stopped and took a breath and realized, well, do I want the whole package of that person? Do I want the whole package of what that person has to go through to be that person? Do I want the whole thing, or do I just want the good bits of being an author with a platform that large? And I realized that really, number one, I wouldn't want to switch places with that person at all. Number two, I wouldn't want to have to do the things that that person has to do to be that person. In other words, I wouldn't want to have the responsibilities and have to live in the certain city that that person lives in and be in all of the rooms that that person has to be in to be that person. I wouldn't actually want that author's platform because it comes with a lot of things that I wouldn't really want to have to deal with. So in that moment, I was wanting to want something kind of without actually wanting it. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'll say regarding your question has to do with limiting beliefs, okay? And this comes up all the time in my work. Comes up quite often, not so much with coaching clients, because most of my coaching clients are people who are really serious. They want to make real changes. They're not, people who are just kind of dabbling. They're serious. But it does come up on occasion. You've probably heard of the concept of limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs, in short, are simply beliefs that aren't getting us where we want to go. They're beliefs that say, I am this, and I can't change, and that's who I am, and that's it. So if you've ever heard someone say, I am who I am, and just the world has to deal with it, or I am who I am, and I'm never going to change, that's a limiting belief. It's not necessarily true, it's simply a belief. But in a kind of sneaky way, believing it makes it true. In other words, if you go out into the world and you just say to yourself, I'm unattractive, that's who I am, I'm an unattractive guy, guess what? The odds are much higher that other people will perceive you as unattractive. However, if you wake up and are at least open to the possibility that other people will find you attractive, guess what? That makes you more attractive. And there were a number of limiting beliefs in the comment that you wrote. I think you said something like, I'm unattractive and I can't have one-night stands and I can't do this and I can't do that. I am not telling you by any means what you should want or what you should do or what you should do with regard to your relationship. Aside from the fact that I'm not your coach and you're just somebody I met on YouTube, shall we say, I don't know. Those are decisions that you need to make for yourself. But I'm trying to illustrate this point, and I wanted to record this video because this is something I see all the time that holds so many people back. Telling themselves certain narratives about themselves that aren't getting them where they want to go, that aren't necessarily helpful in any real sense. And if you tell yourself a certain thing about yourself over and over and over again, and you decide that this is the truth and it's just the way it is, guess what? You're probably not going to have a very successful, very fruitful life because it's almost like you're driving the car of your life with one foot on the brake at all times. You're not going to get very far. If you tell yourself, I can't get a girlfriend, women don't like me, women are probably not going to like you very much because confidence is attractive in men and women. And if you go into the world with that belief, people aren't going to respond to it very well. Now, there are a number of ways to change or at least challenge limiting beliefs. I think it all starts basically just being open to the fact that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about my deepest held beliefs about myself. Maybe I'm wrong with this narrative that I've been carrying around with me maybe since my childhood. Maybe I'm wrong. Because guess what? We're often wrong about ourselves. We often tell ourselves unhelpful narratives about ourselves that aren't necessarily true. We just think they're true because we've been buying into them for so long. You can probably hear construction noise out in the hallway, so I've got to keep this short. But in closing, I would say, as the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. In other words, you can't change anything about the past. You can't go back in time. You can't go back to high school, and you can't go back 20 or 30 years ago, or even 5 years ago, or even 5 minutes ago. The past is gone, doesn't matter. All that's left is the here and now. And you can change and challenge your limiting beliefs about yourself at any time. It simply starts with making the decision and being open to the possibility that, number one, these beliefs are not getting me where I want to go, and number two, these beliefs may not necessarily be true. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this today, please take a minute to let me know by clicking that silly like button that all the YouTubers like to talk about. I know it's obnoxious, but doing all that stuff, liking, commenting, sharing really does help the channel. So if you don't mind, please like, comment, share this video. Be sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you again very soon.